Welcome to the Fighting on Film podcast, the podcast all about classic and obscure war movies, from the Normandy landings to the days of chivalry and swords. If it's been captured on film, we're going to try and cover it. I'm Robbie of RM Military History.
I'm Matthew Moss of Historical Firearms and the Armourer's Bench.
This is 5 to Alpha, contact now, the grid. 852-676, approximately 4 tanks and 10 APCs moving directly towards the wood. I'm observing, over.
Hello Sunray. Fighting on Film has partnered up with warfaremedia.net to give our listeners exclusive discounts on a range of high-resolution Cold War adverts, propaganda and recruitment posters. From blowpipes to nuclear threats to weapon schematics, Warfare Media has you covered. Visit warfaremedia.net today and use the code FOF20 at checkout for 20% off high-quality Cold War posters. I repeat, FOF20 at checkout. Over.
Roger, out to you and take action now. Send us SITREP as soon as possible. Over.
Hello, welcome back to Fighting on Film. This week it's the Patreon pick, where every month 4 films battle it out to be chosen for review on the show. And our Patreon supporters selected 1952's The Planter's Wife, or Operation Malaya, if you're in America, with Hawkins beating out The Deserter, Sniper's Ridge, and Warbus.
It was probably the best of a solid bunch of
so.
B-movie picks there. We felt like a spicy B-movie month.
If you're a long-term Patreon supporter, you'll know that we sneak in a little Vietnam B-movie in there every month. That's kind of become a inside thing in the show, because we always think, I wonder if it'll win. You know, we wonder if it'll win.
Warbus is a weird movie.
Bus is odd. It's odd. But there's no rhyme or reason to the Patreon pick. Matt picks 2, I pick 2. And we'll never tell whose is whose. But no, thank you very much for choosing The Planter's Wife, because everyone likes a bit of Jack Hawkins. And just a little brief synopsis before I get into cast. The Planter's Wife follows the Fraser family, a rubber plantation owners, during the Malayan emergency in the early 50s, and the pressure it puts on them and their marriage while they fight off communist raids and bandits.
Pretty succinct. That's it. That's the film.
Pretty much it. So into cast, and first off we have Jack Hawkins, CBE, as Jim Fraser. Yes, as the patriarchal rubber plantation owner, a role initially offered to Michael Redgrave, of all people. Sir Michael Redgrave. Yeah.
I can't see Michael Redgrave being the action-packed
Maybe not.
chap.
Maybe though. Don't know.
It might have turned him on a different path.
It might have done. Yeah. He might have ended up doing the Cruel Sea. We'll never know.
Oh wow.
You never know. So, of course, Jack Hawkins needs no introductions to listeners of this show, but if you've just got off Planet Zog, he's been in Angels 1-5, Mandy, The Cruel Sea, Malta Story, Lawrence of Arabia, Waterloo, and Bridge on the River Kwai, to name but a few. One of the seminal post-war British actors, in my opinion.
Firm favourite on the show.
Oh, firm favourite. Then we have Claudette Colbert as Liz Fraser, is it Colbert or Colbert? I wasn't too
Colbert,
sure.
I believe, yeah.
Colbert.
You're right, the
first
time.
right time around. So she's Liz Fraser, his American-born wife. She's an Academy Award winner for It Happened One Night. She was in Cleopatra, playing the lead role. So Proudly We Hail and 3 Came Home are 2 war films she did. And she impressed director Ken Anakin with her knowledge of lighting and camera work on set. And she confided in Anakin that she'd never done action scenes, but apparently she was quite handy with the weapons on set.
Apparently she enjoyed it, yeah. I read that too.
More on her later in the alley tally there. Then we have Anthony Steele as Hugh Dobson. He's a military policeman, like the British troops that are stationed in Malaya. You'll know Anthony Steele from The Wooden Horse, Malta Story, Albert R.N., The Sea Shall Not Have Them, just to pick a few out there. He was a little bit Bridesmaids Never the Bride, Steele, for a bit.
He was. He doesn't have a lot to do in this, to be fair.
No, he really doesn't. Yeah, it's interesting.
He turns up with some 2-inch mortars at the end, and that's it.
Yeah, although he's good in it. But I'm like, this is a bit of a waste of Anthony Steele here.
A little bit, yeah.
This should have been
conversation
Percy
with
Herbert.
Colbert.
Yeah.
It honestly could have been. That would have been a big role for Percy at that point, wouldn't it?
It would have been,
yeah, he has a brief conversation with Colbert, and then turns up at the end with some 2-inch mortars. And
easiest day rate he's ever made, old Steele. Right. Really, about 10 lines, I think. Ram Gopal, OBE, as Nair, Jim's assistant on the plantation, kind of like right-hand man, I think, in a way. He's an Indian-born dancer and actor, really famed for his dancing, Indian dancing in the 30s. And he was in the Purple, only has a couple of film credits, but he was in The Purple Plane with Gregory Peck and a film called The Blue Peter. Not that Blue Peter, but a film called The Blue Peter.
Don't be blue, Peter.
Nice. Partridge reference. Lovely. And then we have child actors Jeremy Spencer and Peter Asher, who appear as Matt. He's like a local Malayan sort of friend to Peter Asher, who plays Mike Fraser, Jack Hawkins' son in it. Spencer would later appear in Operation Crossbow as an SS officer in an uncredited role.
Wow.
I don't think his career really went the way that he thought. There's a lot of uncredited roles towards the end of his career for Spencer. However, Peter Asher, and I'm sure listeners of the show have heard of Peter Asher before. I hadn't. I was born in the 90s. He would find fame in the 1960s as one half of Peter and Gordon with their hit "Oh World Without Love" that was written by Paul McCartney. And then later would go on to be the head of A&R at Apple Records, and then in the 90s would become vice president of Sony Music Entertainment Group, winning 3 Grammys.
Wow.
Incredible.
I mean, I've heard the name. I didn't know that was him, though. Wow.
No, it's him, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
strange career.
Child
I was in a
actor
film with The Hawk, and then I was a 3-time Grammy winner.
And then I worked for the Beatles. Incredible.
Music things.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah,
really,
wow.
I mean, his Wikipedia is amazing to read.
When I was 7, I watched a mongoose eat a cobra.
Yeah, more on that mongoose later, Matt. You hang on a minute, folks. More on the mongoose later. Don't get ahead of ourselves. We still have a few actors left. A couple of notable faces appear in uncredited roles. So we have Victor Madden, who appears as a British radio operator. Incredibly briefly. I think he's in the back of one of the trucks.
Wow.
Like it's really briefly. So you'll know Madden from. He's almost like a Herbert in his own way. He's been in so much.
Yeah.
He's been in The Sea Shall Not Have Them, Carrington VC, Cockle Shell Heroes, to name but a few. And he was in 1990 with Ed Woodward as a sort of like conniving Cockney fixer. Then we have Australian actor turned director Don Sharp, who appears as Lieutenant Summers really, really briefly towards the end. He had small roles in The Cruel Sea and Appointment in London, but he would later direct Ed Woodward in the 1974 film adaptation of Callan and direct the 1978 TV adaptation of The Four Feathers starring Beau Bridges and Simon Ward. And that's just a couple of his credits. The man had like 50 credits.
That's really cool.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Like, I always love it when we do these movies.
Yeah, well, that's why we do the production and cast bits, where we like dig into what people have been in and worked on in the past, because I think it's interesting to see where they've come from and where they go to.
Yeah, it's amazing. But that is cast this week. It's a very slim cast, and that's really the key players. There's not like a big. There is villains in this, but they're not really given much to do at all.
Yeah, I don't think the big bad has any real substantial lines.
Not really.
The whole thing.
No.
He's more of a mugshot, isn't he? And then he's seen very briefly at the end before he gets killed by a grenade.
No, he really does. So that's pretty much a key cast there. Very, very post-war British fare this in terms of casting.
Oh, it is in terms of production as well. So speaking of which, for being a classic post-war British film, it's a rank organisation production. So you know it's going to be good.
When you see that symbol, it's like the A24 logo of its day, isn't it? The rank organisation. I do it even now. Like if I see rank at the start, I'm in for a treat here. I'm in for a treat.
Exactly. It's based on a novel, The Planter's Wife, by Sidney Charles George, which was published in 1951. It was directed by Ken Anakin. He joined the RAF film unit during the war. He was a camera up on We Serve and directed London 1942, about London in 1942. Landfall 1949, The Story of Robin Hood and His Merry Men 1952. Swiss Family Robinson 1960. The Longest Day, some of the outdoor bits and the British bits 1962. The Battle of Bulge, 1965, The Long Duel, 1967, and his last military-themed production was Paper Tiger with Dave Niven in 1975.
What a run. What a run. Like,
decent,
incredible.
Decent.
What a run that is.
I love the through line from going from RAF Film Unit through to Paper Tiger with David Niven.
Through to late stage Niven on a
Yeah.
Piat. Incredible.
Written by Guy Elms and Peter Proud. Guy Elms had served in the Far East during the war. He also worked on, or wrote, I should say, Captive City, another Niven picture, and Submarine X1.
Don't say the word Captive City to me, Matt. If you know behind the scenes here, I paid someone online to give me that, and it was the version I'd already found on YouTube.
In Italian.
In Italian, yeah. If you own a English dub version of Captive City, we will give you money. I've said it now on the show.
Near impossible to find. I think it's out of print.
If you ever try, listeners, open call. If you ever find a version of the Captive City starring David Niven and Percy Herbert, we want to see it.
We do. I mean, I've sat through the Italian version and gone, this is probably a decent film if I knew what was going on, except for when David Niven speaks English.
Exactly. Yeah.
Peter Proud, probably better known as an art director. He worked on the Legal Gentleman, 1960, another Hawke picture. The Buccaneers TV series in 56, The Adventures of Sir Lancelot, another TV series, and The Adventures of Robin Hood TV series again. He worked as the art director on those. Cinematography was provided by 2-time Oscar winner and 5-time BAFTA winner, Jeffrey Unsworth. Now, Jeffrey Unsworth had, again, one of those careers that you would sit down and look through his Wikipedia or his IMDb page and go, bloody hell. So, I mean, these are just his kind of military-themed, as always, the military-themed productions that he's worked on. Scott of the Antarctic, 1948, with Mills. The Seekers, 1954. Simba, 1955, with Derek Bogard, a Mau Mau film, one of the only Mau Mau films.
And Donald Sinden.
Yes, and Sinden. Which, incidentally, Rank made Simba purely because of the success of The Planter's Wife. They were like, oh, everyone likes counterinsurgency. We better make another counterinsurgency film.
Get me Donald Sinden with a Sterling submachine gun.
I say, give me Donald Sinden.
I say,
we need to make another. Yeah, exactly.
Give me that chiseled jaw gentleman from the Cruel Sea and give him a sterling. Lovely. Lots of money for me. Lovely.
A Town Like Alice, 1956. A Personal Favourite, Northwest Frontier, 1959. The 300 Spartans, 1962. Another childhood favourite. I remember watching that on like a Sunday afternoon multiple times and being like, bloody hell, this is good. Cromwell, 1970, with Harris.
Incredible.
And of course, his final military kind of themed production or credit is A Bridge Too Far, 1977. So he provided the cinematography on all of those.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
probably rubbed shoulders with Seb, friend of the show.
Yeah. Probably
did.
Then we've got the score was provided by Alan Gray. He had a very long, interesting career as well. Some of his highlights include The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, The Volunteer, A Matter of Life and Death, and The African Queen.
Wow.
As Rob already mentioned, the film was titled Outpost in Malaya in the US. And apparently during production, Anakin and a team of assistants gathered information from planters and soldiers and policemen that had been working and serving in Malaya while they shot the second unit sequences in and around Southeast Asia. So they worked in Singapore, Malacca, and they also did some filming in Ceylon as well. Ceylon Zoo, I should say. That's where the infamous mongoose cobra scene was filmed, which Rob will talk about later.
You better believe it, folks.
Internally,
they come for the war movie chat. They stay for the mongoose chat.
The mongoose. So interior principal filming was done in Pinewood Studios in the UK, which you can just about tell. And there's a very interesting note from...
There's a varying degree of matte paintings all the way through the movie.
There is. There's a very...
Somewhere the guy had got paid in the morning and was on it. Somewhere he was waiting on a check. It just couldn't be asked. And I think that's the fairest way of saying it.
So the Hawke in his memoir actually says, "We didn't leave Pinewood Studios not one single day. All the outside work was done with rather cheating technique of back projection, which the action was played out against screens showing moving pictures of locations. What made it all the more absurd was the fact that we were filming in the middle of winter and we were all cutting around, dressed in bush shirts and shorts. I was permanently frozen.
Incredible.
He literally couldn't light his woodbine. His hands were that cold.
The thing won't light, for God's sake.
I say, was someone like this fag for me? I can't light the bloody thing.
Cigarette. Come on. Yeah, his 1973 posthumous biography, Anything for a Quiet Life, is superb. Any FOF fans out there who even vaguely enjoy the work of Jack Hawkins, it's incredible. He wrote it and then he passed away a couple of months later.
Yes, and there's a very sad end note from his wife, isn't there?
Oh yeah, it's some of the most beautiful writing about a human being I'll ever read. Beautiful, really great.
Finishing up production, budget was, I think, this is a guesstimate, okay? So based on what I read, Colbert's fee for the film was about 20 grand.
Not bad for them days.
Very good for those days, because they really wanted like a Hollywood name for the female lead.
There was controversy around that, wasn't there? I remember reading somewhere.
They ran through a few people, and they went with Colbert in the end because she was available. So I'm going to estimate that around 70 to 80,000 for the budget on this. It seems about right, because
50k at a push, maybe.
Yeah, you've got to pay for Anakin to go and do some second unit stuff in.
You got to pay the Hawk. You know, you got
to pay the Hawk and Steele.
Yeah, this is Hawkins' like
Tony Steele on the
fame cementing run here. So he's probably commanding 25-30k, I reckon, at least.
Yeah, he's going to be another 10 grand on top of what Colbert got, surely, you would think.
Yeah, for sure.
She wasn't that good of a get in terms of, cast. And then box office, it was a success. It made £600,000 back. The casting of Colbert didn't work out quite as well as Rank had hoped. They only made 32,000 of that in the US, but it did very well elsewhere. Like in the UK, it must have had a stonks run to get to 600,000.
Yeah, and as I say, Hawkins goes from this to Mandy. I think Mandy might have been just beforehand, where he plays the headmaster of a school for the deaf, and then he goes on for The Cruel Sea. So we're right in this. Really, this is Hawkins cementing his fame. Yeah.
Gideon the Yard is around this time as well. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So before, So Anakin later recalled that he described it as a good action picture, which I think is a fair statement. And as I mentioned earlier, the success of this led to the commissioning of Simba, a Mau Mau picture, which was directed by Brian Desmond Hurst.
So I think that brings us on to this week's retro review that Matt's found.
It comes from a October 1952 edition of Variety. It's quite a lengthy review actually, which is nice to see. It's got The Planter's Wife and then parentheses British, so it's a British film in an American industry paper, I suppose. Routine domestic drama with Malayan war background. Claudette Colbert's name may help overcome script weakness. In its earlier stages, the yarn just limps along, with the director introducing contrived thrills to sustain the action. One such incident, depicting a tussle between a snake and a mongoose, has absolutely no relation to the plot whatsoever. Later sequences, however, focus attention on the actual campaign, and here the story is tense and dramatic. Weaknesses in the script are an obvious handicap of the two stars, both of whom are capable of something much better. Anthony Steele has only a trivial role as a British inspector. It's a decent, fair review, I think. There are points that I'll come to later on that the script is a little bit weak, and they are a bit underserved. And it does meander a little bit, but I think it's still a good film.
But don't come from the mongoose section. How dare you?
No, but they did though.
But they did.
Variety did come from the mongoose.
You'd think for a magazine like Variety, they would have enjoyed it. Anyway, on to the one-word reviews this week, which I must admit, I think we'd surprised a few with this one. But a few unseens. Matthew Moss, don't know who he is, never heard of him. He goes Hawk, and he put up that lovely stock picture of Jack Hawkins from his Wikipedia page with the Siggy in his hand. Lovely picture. Paul Burns goes Snake. Adam Christian says Bren. Brian Williams says Mongoose. Come on, Brian. Yes, Brian got the memo this week. Jay McUn went Hulk, and AD Bond went, he's looking a bit green, because in the poster. For the trailer, for some reason, Jack Hawkins looks like the Hulk.
Is it meant to be at night? Is that trying to convey it's nighttime?
Might be nighttime, yeah. I say, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, would you?
Hulk
on a Bren. And then, that'd be amazing. And then Glenn 5 goes with Unheard. So a bit of a varied one there. But I think this one might have fallen by the wayside a little bit. I don't know.
I hope on listing people will go and find it.
It is out.
Worth it, I think
it's easily findable on a very very popular video sharing website. Do with that what you will, folks, because we don't want it taken down, because we'd like everyone to be able to see The Planter's Wife. Because I don't even think there's an official DVD of it around. I had a look.
I don't know. I think you can rent it on some of the platforms.
Yeah, you can rent it on Prime. I know that.
So there must be yeah.
And one of our American listeners says it's available on Prime in the US under Operation.
Outpost in Malaya.
Outpost in Malaya. Yeah. So that brings us on to this week's Ali Tally, and there is a heck of a lot in here. So stay tuned, folks.
Hello there. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to let you know that you can now join our supporting cast over on Patreon. As thanks for your support, you'll be able to help us pick films, submit questions for guests, have first pick on brand new and exclusive merch, and much more. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
It's time for Ali Tally on Fighting on Film.
So I'm gonna sort of kick the Ali Tally off by just explaining briefly the Malayan emergency to everyone listening.
Good idea, actually. Yeah.
Which I should have done at the start of the show, but this is FOF. This is how we roll, folks.
At least we gave a synopsis of the film at the beginning this time. We normally
started doing that lately.
Completely forget.
People are enjoying it, I've heard.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. I quite like the old episodes though, where we spend.
It's only taken 215 episodes for us to do that.
Chatting about a movie, and then we just go, it's actually about this. We love our audience because they know film. That's why, you punch up, you don't punch down, Matt. You don't punch down.
Exactly. We've always said that.
So the Malayan emergency, try to say that fast, was a guerrilla war fought between Britain and a whole range of Commonwealth countries, New Zealand, Rhodesia, Australia, to name but a few, and the Federation of Malaya, against the Communist Party of Malaya from 1948 to 60. And it has been described, much like Borneo, as our Vietnam in the past. Quite a low intensity war, but there was a few key battles in there. But no, it's a very interesting part of British military history. A little bit overlooked. I think around the same time we had Suez and Aden and all that kind of thing. This is very just about end of empire times.
It is, yeah.
So it annoys some people, but declining British years, I think. Really, we're in that weird sort of
fair to say,
period. So this is an interesting one because lots of weapons on display here, but no live firers or blank anywhere that I can see in the movie. Never see a spent shell casing. A lot of shaky guns. I think maybe the sound stage is making that they can't do that, or something going on here with that.
It doesn't take anything away from the film.
Oh no, it doesn't. I just thought
you don't find yourself, kind of like picking it out. It helps that it's all shot in studio night time kind of conditions. So you have quite a big gamut of World War II small arms on, which is true to life for Malaya. You had everything from Mark II Stens through to M1 carbines and Lee Enfields and everything in between. Really, it's just one of those conflicts that kind of whatever was available.
There's a bit of everything going on, didn't it? So the movie has Sten Mark IIs used by Hawkins and Colbert, and a lot of it, and a few are used by the sort of communist bandits. Jack has a lovely Smith and Wesson. That he
does, yeah.
That he takes a few shots at angrily in the morning when he was annoyed at his wife for not setting the alarm.
And then he makes good use of it in the tunnel at the end.
He does, yeah. Good sound design there. Really blams that away. We've got number 4s and jungle carbines used by the British and the Federation of Malaya troops. Really nice to see. Then we have a rising submachine gun.
Rising, yeah.
Very rare.
Very interesting. Jack calls it a rising the first time he says it, and then once he pops up onto the roof to I'm going to position the rising on the roof, and then he pops up on the roof it's like it's an artillery piece. And he pops it on the
rising
roof,
there. Yeah.
and then he says it's Riesling, and it's like, oh, glass of wine, is it, Jack? Like,
get me out of the cold. Get me a lovely glass of Riesling and a Woodbine now. You know, is that enough? Is that enough, Ken, for you? 'Cause I'm a bit fucking chilly in here.
Yeah, and then plenty of Mills bombs are being thrown around.
Oh yeah.
There's a great, very early down the scope sequence.
Yeah.
Which I thought was marvelous. The Malayan communists have a Type 11 Japanese light machine gun, which is really, really cool to see.
Me and Matt debated for days about what that was, didn't we?
I managed to get a good angle on it where you could see the hopper handle.
Yeah.
So the Type 11's the weird one where they used stripper clips from rifles to feed it rather than a magazine.
Insane method of loading a machine
quite
gun.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Superlatively Japanese at this
Beautiful.
point.
Yes.
You know? So yeah, that's a really cool inclusion, and of course they had scopes, or could be mounted with scopes. So there's a quite a nice little sequence where they're aiming the machine gun, hoping to get Jack when he answers the telephone. They're sneaky. They're very clever, these communists. They attach a little field telephone to the telephone line and phone the house. And
I want to talk to Mr. Fraser. Is he there? It's quite sinister in its way.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But little do they know that Jack's out and about, flanking them. So Jack's wife, Claudette Colbert, answers, and they light up the room with the Type 11, and she dives for cover. And then Jack pops out of a bush and throws a Mills bomb at them.
It's great. Jack Hawkins, Mills bomber. It's brilliant.
Marvelous stuff.
And to be fair, the Malayan communist, he absolutely bodies that Mills bomb, doesn't he? He just gets up and sort of shoots at Jack, and Jack looks terrified and runs off. But
very accurate.
It's a really good little sequence. That I also like some of the vehicles on display, because we don't really see these kind of ones. So we've got a very interesting armoured Jeep, which I looked for ages to see if that was an actual designated Jeep model, but I don't think it is. I know that in the Second World War, some American troops up-armoured their Willis Jeeps to give them a bit of protection. And in the Malayan emergency, there was like home-done armoured vehicles, armoured cars. There's loads of different armoured cars out there.
Improvised, yeah,
and lots of different sort of World War II vintage ones. But in this movie, they have maybe that's a stand-in. They don't have an actual
could be
one they can use.
Because Jack's bombing around in a sedan that's been kind of up armoured as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Steel windows and little flaps down, and it has like little wire cutter on the front bonnet. And stuff.
Really cool. And then we've got an early Land Rover. Really nice. And we see the back of a Daimler Dingo once, but they never get in it. And then I think
robbed.
I know, and I couldn't work them out, but I think we either have Humber or Scamell trucks. Couldn't work out the actual one they were. No beddies.
We see the back end of one, don't we, when Jack's trying to steal a brain gun?
And we see the front end of it, and I thought it was either a Humber or a Scamell, but I couldn't be sure. But no, very interesting, just to have it, because I assume these are all local forces that are in, Singapore and that are being sort of used by the production.
Perhaps so, yeah.
Makes sense.
Or if there were soundstage done, it was whatever was around Pinewood.
Yeah, really nice. But then my true pick this week, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the little mongoose and the cobra that have a pretty savage fight halfway through the movie. Now, in terms of the movie, cut it out. It does nothing, right?
Yeah, it's pointless.
But I think it's trying to
mild jeopardy for Mike. That's all it is.
Oh no, the annoying children might get eaten. Oh no. So I was watching this movie with my boy. He was around looking after him, and he goes and he says, I had to put it in the notes. He says, "Daddy, the little bear is biting the snake. Look." And I was like, that's going in. That's going in the show. So me and Matt have both agreed that the mongoose and cobra at this year's Hoofders which we might actually have to do a Hoofter episode at this point, like a little awards ceremony. They will both be getting posthumous Hoofters, which is the Fighting on Film Award for animal actors in war films. Hoofters all around yet again. If you're a long-term listener, you might remember.
Gongs for the mongoose and cobra.
Yeah. Oh, he goes at him, the mongoose, doesn't he? Crikey.
He does. Well, apparently, I read on Wikipedia, the fabulous source that it is, that when they filmed that, the mongoose handler said that these local mongoose, they're not used to fighting, so they had to go to the Ceylon Zoo to get a good cobra mongoose fight. They actually had to import a mongoose.
Wow. It must have been the hardest mongoose bastard. The Roy Keane of mongooses, this one.
Just came in, headbutted the mongoose, that was it.
Yeah.
Done.
You know, the cobra's like Haaland. It's having him. Nice little football reference there. He got a 6-month ban from the FA, that mongoose.
And then one last thing we got to mention is the very cool 2-inch mortar barrage at the end.
Yes.
Anthony Steele turns up and is like, HE 200 yards, and then it's like just drops a load of HE on the compound.
But I think it's Lieutenant Summers who goes, we can't fire them there. The rubber trees, they'll take ages to regrow. Ad-libbing.
No, that's not. It's not Lieutenant Summers. That's that's the other planter that you get introduced to vicariously through people talking about him, and you hear him talking in the back of a club, and that's it.
That's it, yeah. And they go, you can't fire HE. And they go, well, whatever. Just do it anyway.
Fraser's going to be awfully mad if you damage his rubber trees. They take years to grow back.
I think at the point by their firing the balls, I think Jack was probably quite happy that they brought up some 2-inch.
I think Jack had probably peppered those trees with the Bren gun by that point, surely.
Yeah. All this talk of 2-inch mortars has made me want to talk about favourite scenes. So let's do it.
I'm Captain Dale Dye, and you're listening to Fighting on Film.
I mean, if you've seen the film going in, folks, I think me and Matt have kind of chosen the same thing this week. It's the end set piece, isn't it? Because it's building to it the whole way through the film. It's quite a little bit of tension, a little bit of marriage drama.
Yeah, there's some marriage drama, and then there's a bit where she shoots a communist that's attacking them. I like the bit in the little village where they're Jack's on the lookout for communists and spots a child with a Mills bomb wrapped around his leg.
Yeah.
And chases the child back to whoever he was going to give the grenade to. And then he kind of like runs off and finds Claudette. And she shoots him. She pulls like a little, I think it's like a little Webley or something out of her dress pocket and shoots him.
I love the bit in the town where Jack asks Anthony Steele for a Bren gun, and he just says like the immortal line, I want to set it up in the bedroom for a better field of fire. It's just such a great line. Like amazing.
Exactly. Because he's spoiling for a fight, isn't he? And
Jack just wants rid of him, doesn't he?
The subtext of it is the wife is feeling estranged from Jack because
he's horrible to her. The whole movie.
He's bloody horrible to her. Yeah. So, and the reason he's being so horrible is because he's worried for the family's safety because of the communist insurgency that's going on. But he's such a 50s man, he can't convey that to his wife. He can't say,
God, no.
I'm frightfully worried about us being killed by the communists.
Yeah.
So don't touch me, don't look at me, and I'm going to shout at the staff.
And I have trauma from being a POW in the Second World War.
Yes, I actually really like that little inclusion in their backstories.
I was dreaming about the camp again. Like, oh, Jack, mate, you might want to talk to someone, fella. You know,
he's got the PTSD, hasn't he? Yeah.
It felt to me, it felt like they were sort of they got together in the camp, maybe out of necessity, and then
from the lines, it sounded like her previous husband, died in the camp, and then perhaps they met in the camp, and
Jack cracked his knuckles, like, I'm here for you, love. Did the old yawn over. Yawn over, yeah, I'll look after you. You know.
Probably true. But yeah, so that kind of ambles along, doesn't it? And it's not the most exciting of plots.
No. And then Anthony Steele basically tells Claudette Colbert to get rid of Jack, and that never comes back up. Hawkins never
Yeah,
has it
he's
out
kind of
with
like
him
you,
or
you
anything
need to
like
be
that.
fair to him. You need to let him know if you're going to come back once you've dropped Mike off at school.
I thought
'Cause-
there was going to be a scene where Hawkins would go back into the town, have a go at Steele about it, and then it would like sully the relationship with him and the British troops. So it's like a will they, won't they come and help Jack at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought we were going to have that, and we didn't. Maybe it's in the
done that,
book.
yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, no, the end set piece. Getting back to it, like good action. Brendan Sten's blazing away, and then then there is where my issues with the movie start. But like, I did like it. Oh, and also shout out for Claudette's wardrobe. It's hugely at odds with the surroundings that she's in. So she wears this like amazing dress early on, and it's like she's going to a dinner dance or something.
Yeah.
And there's just some weird
It was the
bits in
style at the
movie.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's where
I
I've got
mean-
that whole marriage out of circumstance thing. Like, Jack's this sort of tough plantation owner, been through the mill a bit, and she's this sort of maybe sort of middle classy American who somehow was out there, and it kind
Well,
of
it says in the thing that she's always been out there. They're planters, and that's all they both
right.
know. So yeah, so I don't know how she came to it, but she must have been out there quite a while, pre-war, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think The Last Stand is definitely the high point of the film. I really like some of the cinematography around that because there's a lot of jeopardy around the lights going out, and they've got lights on the perimeter fence. They've got some guards on the outskirts of the
Yeah.
bungalows. One of the bungalows gets set on fire, which I think is his superintendent's, his assistant's bungalow.
It's Malayan Emergency Zulu, is what you're saying.
It kind of
in
is
a way,
bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's some great little sequences in it because there's at least 2 or 3 like bounding attacks from the communists, and they're blatting away from the veranda, which is now festooned with sandbags.
Yes,
They've
it's
put
cool.
those sandbags up bloody quick. You got 2 lads in the bathroom firing a Bren gun, which is then repositioned onto the veranda where Claudette gets on the Bren. She's giving it something. She does a fantastic reload.
God, it's beautiful.
Which is very good. I was quite impressed.
Seats the mag beautifully.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
And then there's that great little sequence in the tunnel as well, where there's it's claustrophobic. Jack's down there. There's jeopardy. Is he going to get out? There's a communist with a grenade, and Jack's blatting down the tunnel with his revolver, and Anthony Steele turns up and drops down and is firing his Mark II Sten down the
Beautiful.
down
It's
the
great.
tunnel, and they just flush this chap out. And it's a very well directed, very sort of like played out little sequence, and for something that was studio bound and quite not the biggest of stages. Not the biggest of sound stages. It does work really quite well.
No, it's good enough.
It's a good climax, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good enough. And then at the end, Mike goes home.
Send Mike off to school, boarding school
Bye,
in
Mike.
England.
Yeah.
Bye, Mike.
Go and become a famous musician, Mike.
Your father and I are going to stay here and fight the communists.
Yeah.
And harvest rubber. That's what we do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're a rubber family. Don't you forget it. Right. I think that brings us to the final thoughts.
It does.
It does. So, an interesting.
Not the best of films, is it?
Yeah, an interesting pre-cruelty effort from Jack Hawkins, but it's a good enough watch. But I felt the movie really lacked context, even for 1952, in any kind of like. I mean, in a scripting sense. I mean,
there is a map at the beginning. It does show you where Malaya is.
No one ever says. No one ever goes. No, not even Fraser and his wife go. This is why this is important. This is why being a rubber plantation is, and having my farm and keeping it going is really important. They never once say that. Like, no one ever gives me any reason to care.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though. It's an insurgency. The communists want to run their own country.
In terms of a
and
movie,
they're just people that are living there, and they're making a living out of planting rubber.
I understand, but in terms of like a movie, I don't have any skin in the game. I'll back Jack Hawkins in anything. I love the man. But like, this is one of the movies where I'm like, why should I care? Like, why? There isn't enough here. just something felt missing. Like there's the will they, will won't they subplot. It just didn't commit itself enough, or maybe it's
There's
lost in
not a great deal of
translation.
chemistry between the two of them either.
Not really. I think
And
that's the
obviously,
point.
Hawkins is playing a character which is kind of estranged or aloof from his wife because of the stress of the situation, and he does convey that. But at the same time, you need that explaining. Like it doesn't. There's one sequence, there's one conversation between the two of them where they kind of flesh out that she drags it out of him like he's like, you know, like pulling fingernails. When she's like, "Oh, you're worried about the insurgency, isn't it? That's why you've been so aloof." And he's kind of like, maybe. And as he lights a cigarette, and it's like, oh well, you know. As Variety said, I think the script is the weakness, and I think
so.
Hawkins, as always, he's eminently watchable, isn't he? He's carrying it a little bit.
Hawkins saves this.
It's a slow burner. I mean, the pacing isn't terrible.
No, it's over in 90 minutes as well. It's great.
It's a slow burner. It's kind of saved by a decent pacing and pretty all right, you know, direction.
Essentially, if you see this on Talking Pictures TV at like 4 o'clock and you've got a mug of tea in your hand and you've got nothing to do, you can do a lot worse. Like it is one of those movies. And in terms of like Malayan emergency depictions, there's this and maybe only Virgin Soldiers in its sequel.
No, there's the Seventh Dawn with William Holden as well.
Oh right, okay. In terms of British depictions, at least,
which isn't the most exciting.
Yeah, there's a Malayan movie that the title eludes me. But it came out in 1982, I think, which looks very good from the trailer that I saw. Is it Bullet Kepong, something like that?
Something like that. It's about the siege of a police station, I think.
Yes, it looked really, really good. And I think in terms of that, it's important because there isn't many Malayan anything.
Oh God, yeah, it will exactly.
But like,
and it got the only Mau Mau crisis film.
Yeah, true. That's true as well. But yeah, just something lacking. Yeah, I can't really tell you what.
The final act lifts it.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit flat elsewhere. There's some nice cinematography going on from Unsworth. There's a really great shot, over the shoulder POV shot down the sights of a number 4 rifle of one of the guys.
That's lovely. When
they're in the
the camera work is nice for 52.
The camera work is really quite good, and there's a lovely little quick pan shot to Hawkins' face as he's like sat in a bush hiding with the Smith & Wesson in his hand.
Yeah. He does stoic though, didn't he? Yeah,
he's good.
You need stoic in the 50s. You get the Hawk, didn't you?
He's great.
Yeah.
But so it's a serviceable picture. Definitely worth tracking down if you want to see a Malayan emergency picture.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
And a big thank you to our Patreons for choosing it.
Yes. Do consider supporting us on Patreon if you'd like to help pick a film each month. It is very much appreciated. As Rob always says, it keeps the mics on.
It does. So that brings us into this week's
large question.
So my large question this week, and it is my one for the first week, about 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So I ran out of ideas. It's hard to come up with these every week. I must admit.
It is.
If you have a large question idea, do drop us a note on...
We're really farming it out to the listener this week, aren't we?
Well, why not? It's their show too.
Well, it is. It's a community effort. That's for sure.
It is, yeah. What war film would you preserve for prosperity, a la the US National Film Preservation Board? I was remembering what I said last week about Strangelove being preserved for the first time. So Paul Burns, out the gate, says, The War Game, made in the 60s, which is a pre-Threads type film. I think they show this film in the Hat Green secret nuclear bunker in Cheshire. They indeed do. Yeah. Lock me in there for an hour. Sing like a canary if you ever need anything out of me.
I tell you what, I really did enjoy doing that episode. Way back. As well. Yeah. Way back. If you haven't heard that one, go back and check it out. We did cover it quite a while back.
Half cut, give you my thoughts because I had to have a beer.
Because Rob can't stand nuclear conflict.
I had nightmares for weeks after that. It was horrible. But no, I agree there. The war, Peter Watkins' work should be put in the FOF. If we're doing the FOF Preservation Film Board, the Watkins
we haven't done a
going
Watkins for a while. There's a couple we haven't done. We need to circle back.
We could do more Watkins. Jem Dudaku says these 4 for starters and all from 4 different conflicts. He goes with Pass of Glory, Apocalypse Now, Zulu, and Saving Private Ryan. I don't think you can argue with that.
Nope.
I think SPR
Good
is
picks.
preserved, isn't it? I can't remember.
It might be, actually.
Yeah. AD Bond goes The Wooden Horse, In Which We Serve, and The Dam Busters.
Some good British
Can't argue
choices
there,
there.
can you? Simon Whippet goes The Usual Protagonists, Cruel Sea, Where Eagles Dare, and Wind Talkers. And he goes, oh, typo there. A film that Matt famously once said the director shat his pants all over it, and I'll never forget that. It's an all-time FOF moment. Lester Jetson Bandido, I absolutely love that handle every time I get to say it. He says 12 o'clock high, another great one.
I think that one is, isn't it?
I think it might be, yeah. IHC 3006 goes all of them eventually. Yeah. Stop the episode right now. He's got it right. And then rounding us out this week, Ian Simpson says, "Theirs is the glory. Went the day well. 9 men and rats of Tobruk."
Someone got the memo. Ian
Get yourself
knows.
in the FOF Hall of Fame there, Ian, for that. You can hold your head up high at work tomorrow because you said 9 men.
That was going to be my pick.
Yeah, and mine. We're creatures of habit on this show.
Well, it was never going to be Force 10 from Navarone, I'll put it that way.
Okay, you got one in. You got another one in. He's hounding me, folks. Hounding me. No, it's got to be 9 men. Harry Watt, Ealing Studios. Shot on a Welsh beach. I mean, come on. It's going in there first, isn't it? You know, it's an absolute cracker.
I need a 4K Steelbook Criterion release of 9 men.
Please. We'll geolocate exactly where that hut was.
I think Kerry's got a good idea of where it is. I think he said.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does. But we'll do that one day. We'll go out there one day. We'll do it. We'll do a little FOF outing for that, I think, one day. And I would also throw in Theirs is the Glory in there too.
Of course.
The film that kicked the show off. God, if you go back and listen to that now, we do sound right robotic. It's like we've never met each other. It's hilarious. I drop a joke about a gammon bomb. It just deaf ears. It's brilliant. It's so good. I often go back and listen to the early ones to see how far we've come. That was The Planter's Wife, 1952. Not a bad movie. Stick it on if you've got the time. And all that's left to say, we'd love you to drop us a review on whatever you're listening on. Subscribe, share with your friends, join the FOF Faithful on Facebook, get involved, join the Patreon if you so desire, help keep the mics on, and we'll catch you next week for more Fighting on the Film. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.